Yo, welcome back. Separate bedrooms. Very exciting today. I'm making one of my favorite dishes. I used to make this shit all the time after school because I was a prep cook at my dad's restaurant, Coco's Floribbean Grill. And for people that don't know, Floribbean cuisine is one of the truly American cuisines. It came out of like the merger of Caribbean food, Cubans in Miami, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans in Florida, Haitians, Jamaicans, and Southern American cooking, and then just like Florida regional coastal cooking. And it's probably my favorite regional American cuisine. And when we sit down and we eat, wifey and I, we're going to talk about other American regional foods because I think regional American cuisine is just something to highlight and preserve and show love. But what we're doing here is a pecan crusted wild Atlantic cod. Grouper was very hard to get in LA, and the best fish I saw at the market was cod, so I went cod. We're doing a spicy mango salsa with my mom's homemade fermented chili that is a sriracha replacement. We will talk about that when we get there. And then we also have coconut rice, all right? And I'm gonna tell you my coconut rice recipe. We sent a screenshot to Craig, who's gonna insert it. But basically, I take a Hainan chicken technique to my coconut rice. I take coconut oil, and like if I have shredded coconut, a little bit of shredded coconut, toast that with raw rice. Toast your raw rice in there very quickly. Just get it like hot and toasty, maybe a little translucent, no more than like 15 seconds in hot oil. Remove from the pan, put it in the rice cooker. I hit it with a touch of agave and chicken stock, all right? So I get a chicken stock, coconut rice, very beautiful. It's because of the chicken stock, it anchors it, and it has a little bit of a bone broth base, and it's not so like fruity and sugary forward, but it still has like really nice notes of coconut. So that's your coconut rice. Here, I've cut the fish into 3 pieces for me, wifey, and Julius, right? I have seasoned it with salt, black pepper, and I like this Jezebel spicy spice, all right? Jezebel spicy spice. I also just love in old films when people call hoes Jezebels.
Yeah, I'm like,
that
that's
shit is
such a-
incredible.
Yeah.
So this is a whorish spicy
Yeah,
spice.
you're a siren, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you can use any spicy spice you want. You can use any Creole seasoning, but like you want to season the fish. The idea is kind of like with Floribbean fish and cuisine, a lot of it leans into like Cajun or blackened or Creole seasoning. So whatever you want to do, hit your fish with a little bit of that. Mayo. Again, we got that Jezebel spicy spice, salt, black pepper, mayo, mixing this up, seasoning it. You guys know if I have like hot pepper, I'm usually gonna put a little agave in there. I always like to balance chili with sweetness and acid. You're gonna get the acid later from the mango salsa. But this is our mayonnaise mixture, all right? Whip it up, mix it in. I hand pounded pecans, pause. That sounds fucking wild. I got gluten-free panko, all right? Add the panko in. Add the pecan. I got some bricks of pecan in there. I love any nut-crusted protein, pause. But it's delicious. Like, babe, have you had like pecan-crusted chicken, pecan-crusted
No.
fit? No. Okay,
This is
good.
very
This
new
is
to
the
me.
first. Julius, what about you? Yeah, you into a nut crust?
You got some nut crust? I mean, I've had some nut crust, but
Yeah.
like not on
You
fish.
fool of nut crust.
There's evidence
Yup.
that has happened here.
I gotta give wifey credit too because like I don't have other like Florida homies out here to be doing this stuff, and it's funny when I introduce Florida food to people, it always looks like goofy infusion to them, and I'm like, no, this shit's fire. But wifey was the one that wanted to go watch a movie and eat at Margaritaville, and the Margaritaville coconut shrimp just brought me back to my childhood, and that is why we are highlighting Floribbean cuisine for you today.
No, I used to order coconut shrimp a lot as a kid.
Oh, word.
Well, because I was so as a baby, my mom and dad would feed me like really, like they would give me lobster,
Yeah.
like way before you're supposed to introduce this to a child. And so I would eat everything and anything. And then I think when I was probably around 2, I started having severe allergic reactions to shrimp.
Oh, wow.
And so I had been told that my whole life. Like they would be like, you're allergic to shrimp, you're allergic to shrimp. And I outgrew a lot of my allergies. Like I outgrew asthma, I outgrew being allergic to shrimp. And I was scared to eat it because I just remember them telling me like, you're allergic, don't eat it.
Yeah.
So my like entryway back into seafood
Coconut
was
shrimp.
coconut shrimp.
That's fly.
Because even we would go out to dinner and I remember we would go to this place, Cafe Molise. Like we were there all the time. And they would always order a fried calamari. And my mom told me it was ocean chicken. And we were at a dinner one night and my brother came up to me and he goes, it's fish. Like you're eating fish. And I had like a full meltdown. I was like, oh my God, no, like I can't eat fish. Like it grosses me out. I'm like so scared of it. And then I had to turn to coconut shrimp to like get me back into it. When I was like 12.
Coconut shrimp is a treat. You know,
Yeah.
like nobody
It's
dislikes
naughty.
it.
It's so naughty and like fun.
Yeah, it's like the buffalo wing of the ocean to me. It's
Yeah.
like coconut shrimp.
Yeah.
And it's funny now because like it's funny to hear your mom tricking you into eating when now your mom eats like nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
Here you go.
For sure.
All right. When you batter this, you want to really cover it in this like nut crusted concoction here. It needs to be like this. It's quite heavy, very nice.
Full coverage nut.
Full coverage. You want the full fucking coverage here.
And what do you want the consistency of like your nut paste to be? Like it looks a little thick, right?
It's a little bit thick. It's very thick. So like, I mean, this is like a lot of nut. But you need it like that.
You need a lot of nut.
You need a lot of nut. And to be honest, I wish I had done more. I put so much in here.
Do you want me to
No,
pound some more nut for you?
nah, we good. You don't need to be pounding any nuts.
Okay. But it's cool. So do you feel like you can get Floribbean cuisine in LA? Like, is there any spots you're like, this is it?
You know, you can, no, honestly, Margaritaville's the only one. It's straight up Margaritaville because you could go, I mean, okay, like tiki restaurants sometimes hit the spot in a way, like Floribbean cuisine is similar to like Hawaiian cuisine at times.
Yeah.
And like you'll get some like barbecue ribs and a fish and things like that, or a fish sandwich that's
Yeah.
nice. Like, you know, but no, there's no Floribbean cuisine. Like El Cochinito has certain things because it's a Cuban restaurant
Yeah.
that you may want. But like, I don't know anywhere to get a good conch fritter out here.
Yeah.
I don't know anywhere to get like any of that stuff. I'm gonna very quickly make a little bit more batter, and this will be cool for people to see anyway. So
Yeah, like making the batter.
it's not even a bad thing to do this. Even in New York, there was none. Like Bahama Breeze is another franchise
I've
that
never
does
been there.
Floribbean cuisine.
Yeah.
But really, besides the spots like in Florida,
Yeah.
you rarely get Floribbean cuisine outside of Margaritaville. And I'd say, yeah, Bahama Breeze. Or like,
Yeah.
there's certain like island franchises, like
I
island
was going to say,
restaurants.
there's that, where is it? Like Glendale or when we went to the movies?
Yeah,
and
I
there
think
was
in
that-
Glendale, Burbank, there's like a
Yeah,
couple.
there was something called like Island something. We didn't go, but I was kind of like, I was kind of hoping we'd make a stop in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. We've talked about this before because when I was a kid, I went to Florida a lot as a kid, and I just remember ordering ribs everywhere. Yeah. I have so many photos. I wish I could find it. I have a photo of me just like eating a whole rack of ribs with like sauce all over my face. I have like multiple photos of that.
Florida, like, and this is the funny thing. I remember when I was a kid, I loved ribs. And I would go to like Pineapple Willie's, like Panama
Yeah.
City got like fire Floribbean cuisine. Like Pineapple Willie's is cool.
Yeah.
St. Bart's, like in St. Bart's, Like Shane took me to a place that had like basically like the Jimmy Buffett cheeseburger in paradise with a pina colada and shit like that. That's also very Floribbean. Like Floribbean restaurant will always have like an amazing cheeseburger, an amazing margarita, amazing pina colada. It's like Florida tiki, but with a Caribbean influence.
I kind of can't wait to go to Florida with you.
Yo,
and like have a drink.
Yeah.
And eat a grouper sandwich.
I like, you know, growing up in Florida was hard because it's so monocultural. Like there's very few people that are in my age in the 90s growing up that were into subculture.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to leave Florida. But once I left, I'm like, yo, our kind of like dominant mainstream monoculture in Florida is alien to everyone else. So.
For sure.
You know, like.
You also caught like such a weird, not weird time, but like an interesting time in Florida. I feel like there really wasn't much going on there from what you tell me. Like we'll be driving, like when we took a drive, kind of like into California, and you hit like desert in California a lot where there's not much going on, and you're like, this reminds me of where I grew up, and I'm like, so foreign to me. Like I grew up in a city.
Yeah.
I never drove on a road where there was nothing around.
Yup.
So it feels like Disney came, built the city up, and you were there kind of for that.
We were there, we got there around like 90.
Yeah.
And it was like, there were still orange groves everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we got a Panera Bread and a Barnes and Nobles, they just raised like an orange grove that was just green. And I remember driving, it was like huge, long streets, oranges and just green, and then a subdivision.
So it really wasn't developed at all.
It was not developed.
It's interesting, when you go back as an adult, are you like kind of hyper aware of how developed it becomes over the years, or now it's been like so much time spent out?
It is, because it's like I remember getting like the biggest McDonald's in the world. And that was like
you guys have that
thing.
McDonald's that like you can order cacio e pepe.
Yeah, like the biggest McDonald's in the world was 5 minutes from my house. I remember getting a Chick-fil-A, a Panera, a Barnes & Noble, and that's how like shit got developed.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got like Roy's, the Hawaiian fish house, and like all the homies got jobs there. My boy Austin like got a job at Roy's. Everyone worked at Roy's when it opened. But that was the type of development we got. But when you get out of Orlando even, every single beach town has ill Floribbean cuisine. And even when you go to the more rural parts, I remember once my dad just like veered off the road on an exit, and it looked like a plantation from like straight up 12 Years a Slave, like a wild plantation. Yeah. And I was so scared, and you drove to this plantation house, and that was the first time I ever got pecan crusted chicken. And it was like in a southern setting. I was like, whoa, this feels like evil food. Yeah. So my first time having it, I didn't really want it. Yeah. But it tasted really good. Yeah. But I was like, yo, I'm like idealistically opposed even as like a 12-year-old to this.
What was your neighborhood like? Like, were there a lot of people that were Florida natives, or was it a lot of people that moved there from somewhere else seeking like jobs and business opportunities because it was being so developed?
From outside. It was like, you know, like how Arizona is or Las Vegas is. Like, I feel like Phoenix, Orlando, and Las Vegas were sister cities that really did not have that many natives and did not have that much native culture besides Native American. Like all three of those states had very strong Native American culture. Yeah. Like we have a ton of like Seminole Indian reservations, Osceola, stuff like that. Damn. Same with Arizona, same with Nevada. But the influx of business from like Las Vegas and Disney brought tons of people in. But like my next door neighbor was New Orleans. My other homie down the street was Persian. Another guy was Dominican. And there's a whole neighborhood of what they call like Mickey Ricans, Puerto Ricans working at Disney. So Disney really just like drove everyone there. Yeah. And there were tons of like New Yorkers that came down.
Yeah, like, a lot of people from Boston too.
Yeah. Caribbean New Yorkers would come because their families from Puerto Rico, Dominican, Jamaica were there, and they're like, wait, you got a better life in Florida?
Yeah, it's like warm here, and there's job opportunities, and the cost of living is significantly lower.
Yeah. And it was really funny because the New York kids would come and always rep New York dumb hard and then get in fights with the locals, and the locals would win. It was like, I remember there was a riot like my junior year. because we were doing a pep rally and we had Damian Wilkins that year, who was like Gerald Wilkins' son. He was with top like McDonald's All-American. So our whole school was like hyped that we had like one of the best players in the nation. We had this ill pep rally, and this one like Caribbean New Yorker with like a Yankee on goes, "Yo, fuck Florida," and it just started this insane fucking fight in the gymnasium, and like homie got his ass kicked.
It's interesting though that you like just because there were so many people that weren't from there, but they still had pride about where they lived. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, and like even at the restaurants too, they'll have something like Cajun redfish. That's like for sure a Louisiana thing.
Yeah.
So Floribbean cuisine was cool because it took a lot of Louisiana cooking. You may get like South Carolina cooking. You may get like a chow chow influenced appetizer. Fried green tomatoes. Like every Floribbean restaurant was different and super cool, but you knew you were gonna get coconut shrimp. You knew you had to get a grouper sandwich, a cheeseburger. Like a Florida cheeseburger is like the best Fuddruckers steakhouse burger you've ever had, but with like an island touch. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like big sesame seed bun, big onion, big cheese, big
lettuce,
wide
tomato.
burger, big lettuce, tomato, and then like a pina colada.
I love I'm like craving this.
Shit was super fly.
Yeah. I remember I went to Tampa a lot as a kid.
Tampa got it.
There was a lot of things that would like bring you to Tampa.
Yeah.
Like if you were a gymnast or anything, like there was always a competition in Tampa. Like Little League, I feel like people went to Tampa. Like anytime there was a big, like if you like your sports made it a little bit, it was Tampa.
Yup. And like Disney All-Star. Like
Orlando,
me and the homies would wait at Disney All-Star for like, because they had the cheerleading competitions.
Yeah.
And we'd find out when the cheerleading competitions were.
I went to that.
Yeah.
Worlds is in Orlando, I think.
Yeah, I was probably like 30 when you went. It was like probably not cool for me to pull up and holler. But
You were
like,
not getting in.
They
were like, please don't.
We were not
Please
spoken.
don't do that. Yeah.
But like, I remember two of my homies, like their biggest come up was that they went for like the cheerleading thing and met these two baton twirlers. We never remembered their names, but they like lost their virginity to baton twirlers.
Yeah.
And it was like the illest thing ever. And everyone was like, yo, I gotta go to the fucking cheerleading competition next year.
Well, I remember like it was fun doing that. I used to go with, Kelsey.
Yeah.
So it'd be like me, Kelsey, and one of our other friends and our moms. And obviously like the whole team and the whole thing, but like we were like the crew. And the other girl we were friends with was like she was like a nice girl and wouldn't like leave the hotel at night and go sneak out and do stuff. Kelsey and I were just like on one.
Yeah.
We'd be at the pool like trying to meet people. We were like 12. I was like trying to get the all-inclusive like drinking bracelet.
Oh my God.
And like I remember one trip they had to call, we were in like Dominican Republic or like Bahamas or something. And they put on like a full search. Like, you know how if someone goes missing, like an Amber Alert?
Yeah.
They
You were Amber Alerted
there because we like snuck out and left and they couldn't find us.
Wow.
And so there was like a big search party looking for us and we were just on the beach like talking to some boys.
That's hilarious.
But no virginities were lost.
I thought you were gay then. You were talking to dudes?
Girls. Well, we were just like having fun. We were just like, we wanted to drink and like smoke weed.
Interesting change of story here.
We were doing our thing. We weren't but cool. I said no virginities were lost. It wasn't like a sexual thing.
Yeah, no.
We weren't like, let's go fuck on the beach.
My homies definitely did their thing with some baton twirlers. It was pretty interesting.
Baton twirlers is giving me like band energy though. So like, I feel like those girls were always a little bit more horny.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. They got like busted and had to run out. It was fucking crazy.
Damn.
It was really, really incredible. And jerk wings. All right, like I would always see NBA players at like Bahama Breeze eating jerk wings, like whatever. If the Magic,
the Orlando Magic team just at Bahama Breeze eating jerk wings.
You would just always see random basketball players, or it was like the visiting team. They'd stay at like the Peabody Hotel sometimes down the street.
Yeah.
And they'd end up at Bahama Breeze. And it was like before everybody had jerk wings. That is like a Floribbean staple, is jerk wings.
I had no idea.
Yep.
I didn't know y'all were eating jerk wings in Florida.
We were doing our thing.
It's cool. I'm kind of excited to go back to Florida.
I am too.
Not politically, but just like for this.
Yeah.
But I really feel like I don't want to go to, I don't know. Like, I'm not into Miami right now.
Politically, Florida is ass.
Yeah.
Like, I really politically did not fuck with Florida at all as a kid.
I think it's always been this extreme, and then it kind of like tapered off, and now it's coming back? Or do you think...
So this is a really good point. This is what I'll say about Florida. This is my theory, and like, I live this shit. I think Florida is an example of like our government and democracy and federalism gone wrong, because what happens in Florida or in Arizona is that you don't have that many people who are here for multiple generations.
Yeah.
They don't have like a strong native community. So many people are transplants or carpetbaggers. And I think a lot of people have left their families and given up a lot of the shit they care about to go make a living, because that's where they can afford to live. Like, my parents went because we couldn't afford Virginia.
Yeah.
My dad couldn't make it there. And we had to go to Florida. Like, you don't go for a good reason, you're there. But I think when you have a state like Arizona, Florida, with a lot of transplants and not that much local history or culture anchoring it, like an older city, like New York City, Boston, something like that, most people make their money, aren't around their families, aren't around like a big community they care about.
Yeah.
So they're like, yo, just stop taking my money in taxes. I'm good.
They're just looking out for themselves. There's not a community conscious like view.
Yeah.
They just want to make their money. They don't really care about the greater good.
No. And there's this feeling, and you hear people say it all the time. It's like, I did it myself. I pulled it up on my bootstraps. And it's like, yo, homie, I feel you. You know, like, I feel you. You came on your own. You left things behind. A lot of times on the way up, they felt like nobody helped them out. And then, like, once they're successful, everybody comes back crawling and wants something with their hands open. I'm like, look, I feel you, dog.
Yeah.
But you still have to remember that we all pay into this system. Roads, healthcare, shit like that. You know, like, it's, you do have to, I think it hurts a country and the world in general when people feel alone and singular and like, I did it myself, because nobody does it themselves. But that's
I definitely agree with you. But I do think there is some legitimacy to feeling like you've done it yourself. Because I mean, at this point, there's like no healthcare. People really can't afford anything. So like, whatever you're doing, you kind of are doing yourself. And I do empathize with that. But
I think the government has been very ineffective in helping people out.
Yes.
The way they take our tax money and use it, it's quite ineffective.
That's why I can definitely see the perspective of I have done this myself, because you really haven't had help. Like, you pay insurance you pay these high premiums of insurance, and then something happens and you're still paying out of pocket for it. Like, there's no, you're not safe in any area of your life, even if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, why am I doing A plus B to get to C when like that doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've been alive, people have been screaming for a third party, and I think it makes sense because when you have a two-party system, they can fuck you. You have a bad choice in the Democrats and liberals where their heart's in the right place, they're trying to help people, but extremely ineffective, and like, honestly, a lot of corruption in the way money is used and spent.
Yeah, and then you have a worse choice in the Republicans.
Yeah, even when I look at like what Karen Bass is doing, putting homelessness first, I see that. Please solve the homelessness issue.
Yeah.
Like, people can't afford to live in LA, but like renting hotels for people for $100 a night, like on your first day of office, doesn't seem like the best way to do it. Like, maybe we should have planned ahead and bought these hotels or roach motels we're putting homeless people into. In that way, not only like are you lowering the price per night because you own the hotel,
right,
but you're also providing jobs in this FDR New Deal way, because then people can get jobs running the hotel,
right,
and providing services.
Right, you can actually employ the people you're rehabilitating through that process. Like, okay, cool, you have a room at this hotel, and then if you start doing well enough, maybe you're running the hotel. maybe you like find a new career path through that. There's a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm liberal, and I really truly believe in social services. I really, really disagree with how it's done and how ineffective it is.
Yeah.
But I would like urge people who are conservative and are like, I did it myself, nobody helped me. It's kind of true, but bro, there is a time where you need community. Everybody needs community at some time.
Yeah.
And if you burn it down, it's very difficult to bring back.
Yeah.
That's my spiel. We're gonna pan fry this fish here.
The nut crusted fish.
The nut crusted fish. We're gonna pan fry it on each side. All right. This is actually a difficult dish to make. You guys saw how difficult the molding and breading in. It's not just like a chicken tender where you put it in an egg wash, you toss it in some flour, it's rough and it goes. Like if you do this right, you're really molding the shit out of it. And what we're doing here is we want to sear the crust and get it crispy on two sides. Then we're gonna broil it to finish. Because if I did it all in the pan, the crust would burn.
We love a good broil in this house.
Yeah. And this is the biggest piece. So this bad boy is going first. I should have also done what we did at the restaurant back in the day. Lay some saran wrap down where you put your batter, because like the batter will stick and you'll get bald spots like that. But like this is cool. You pat it, but lay some saran wrap down. It really does just make this better. So here we go. Beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wee, wow. I've been playing a lot of like Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, so I just like talk like the characters now. Oh. Wow. Beautiful. Oh. Julius, how excited are you today, bro, for this? Oh. I saw you do the goddamn face last week when we did the Welsh Rarebit burger. Has anything overtaken the pepper steak recipe yet? Is pepper steak still numero uno?
I mean, I did like the poke bowl.
Oh, good.
I didn't get to try the king mad eye.
Oh.
Oh, my bad.
The tuna one was fire.
The tuna one was fire.
The poke bowl was good. I always,
Damn.
whenever we have like a
I owe you
dinner,
a king mad eye bowl.
Yeah.
Got you.
I always bring up like your ceviche or poke bowl.
Yeah.
Like you should do that.
Thanks, babe. I will do it. Do a couple minutes on each side.
Smells delicious.
Yeah. Floribbean cuisine. Fish fry. Nothing like I really love the smell of fried fish.
Me too. There's nothing I actually, from May to September, want more than fried fish.
Yo. Are you a seafood fan, Julius?
I love seafood.
Yo.
Yeah.
I don't understand fools that don't eat seafood. Like there's a lot of people I know that like don't eat seafood. Their parents like didn't get them into it like early on.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could live with someone that was like not into seafood.
Yeah. It's odd to me.
It's so good.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like seafood. That's the worst when you're like out to dinner with somebody who doesn't like seafood and you're doing kind of
Bro.
like family style. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, let's get this. And they're like, no,
Hell.
let's just do the steak and the chicken.
It's honestly
The
like being in a
potatoes.
book club with Floyd Mayweather.
I would love to be in that book club. You have no idea. Like, I would love to read that man, Harry Potter. Just
I
experience a
bet
book.
you cannot read one page of a Harry Potter book.
That was crazy.
I love 50.
Me too.
I feel like there has been a 50 renaissance on the internet.
Renaissance. I feel like there was never a minute he wasn't relevant on the internet because he was like the original Freddie Gibbs on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. I love 50, but I felt like after the whole Kanye verse 50 thing, like it just like cool kids
Yeah.
and like cool guy rap just like went away from him. And I've always been a 50 fan, but I saw like Cormega posting about 50 this week.
Yeah.
I'd be following Cormega. Shouts to Mega. He was like, give 50 his flowers. And I was like, I agree, bro. Give 50
I
his
agree,
flowers.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
More-
I feel like
more
it never
flowers.
stopped. I
He
feel
be
like there's
suing
been a
everybody, too.
consistent 50 presence in my life, at
I'm
least.
glad
I don't know,
we all
maybe.
agree.
Like,
I just feel like he deserves even more flowers. Like 50's.
yeah, like
50's
he's
top 5 for
everywhere.
me.
He's like doing, he has vitamin water, he has fucking everything.
But I feel like these art fucks never give 50 his due. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm
but like no one's checking for their opinion outside. And this is truly a thing that like we think about too hard, where we're like,
I got
in
too
this,
many art friends.
Yeah, we're like in this bubble and everyone's too cool for shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm getting out the art friend bubble, yo. All right, babe, I need you to help me
Yes.
open this broiler.
I got you.
Go up in there.
Is
with
it already
this.
on? Mm-hmm. Or do you need me to like
Yep, no, just open it up. Thank you. Wow, this shit smells so
after me,
good.
Lee?
Damn.
Wow, it's like foaming.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Ooh. All right. While we do that, all right, this is mango with lime juice of 2 limes and 3 mangoes cut up. Gonna do a little touch of agave just like that because the mangoes in LA are whack. My mom's famous fermented chili sauce. It's the sriracha replacement. You see that, doggy? Oh.
Yeah, we have to talk about that for a second. I mean, we're not giving her
Yeah.
recipe away, but this shit is better than sriracha.
This is the most bomb sriracha.
It's insane. She ferments the chilies herself.
Yup. With other things, blends
This
it
shit
up.
is so good.
I can't wait till she starts to sell it so then we
Yeah.
can tell people. But that's it, man.
Yeah.
Mango salsa. If you don't got a mom like mine, you could use sriracha.
Well,
could
you
use
probably
Tabasco,
can't get
you can use whatever you
sriracha,
want.
but you can buy
I would
this
use,
soon.
yeah, I would use sriracha. I would use tapatio, and you could buy from my mom soon.
Yeah.
All right. If there are any co-packers listening, my mom's looking for a co-packer. She needs a partner because I refuse to partner with my mom on anything. I love her, but I'm not gonna partner with my mom's.
Yeah. I feel you.
That's not fucked up.
I
Right?
might partner with your mom.
You partnering with my mom?
I really
would be
might partner with your
phenomenal.
mom.
She would love to partner.
I
with
love
you.
her vision, and I want to be a
Strong
part of
vision.
it.
That woman has a strong.
Me and your
vision.
mom love all the same shit.
Yep.
Like we are very on the same wavelength, in tune with the same stuff.
She fucking loves you.
That's my girl. And if she wants to make sriracha, I want to make her dream come true.
Amazing.
This is crazy, babe.
This is crazy.
I would eat just this. Like if you were just like had people over in the summer, like leave this out.
Oh, we're doing this now. This is fucking good.
Do you want me to put this in a different bowl?
No, all good. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's Julius.
Wow.
This is you, babe.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Get you in a second. Oh, yeah. And the foaminess and all that is just from the mayonnaise, but it's fine. Like everything Floribbean Cuisine gets a little like blackened and shit like that.
Oh my gosh.
It's delicious. All right, I'm gonna finish this up for everybody. Oh, yeah. I say we take bites, right? Mm-hmm. We all take our bites, then we stop down so that Julius can eat this hot, and then we will pick up the conversation. How about that?
I love that.
I say, get our initial reactions eating, stop down for Julius, then right back at it. How about that, Julius?
God.
He likes hot food.
Everyone likes hot food.
My guy likes hot food. What other pod is looking out for the cinematographer like this?
We eat hot food.
Yup. My man's eats hot food. Oh, man.
You guys, I feel like we need to get some limeade popping with this.
And also, since we're doing, limeade.
Yeah.
And also, Julius, since we're getting hot food, I'm going to need you to talk about the food too, my G.
Ooh.
I'm going to need, when we come back, we're going to get notes from Julius.
Oh,
But we'll
my
start
God.
here. I'm going to keep Julius's hot.
Okay.
Yup.
Sure about
Sure about that? I'm positive. Positive, bro. All right, babe, you got the limeade?
I'm gonna grab it
Okay. We can also do whatever you want.
for sure. I'm just taking a photo of this.
Yeah. Oh, that's fly.
Okay.
In true, I'm gonna do this and then you can take a photo. In true Floribbean fashion, I remember in our restaurant,
Yeah.
we were always stacking it onto the rice. Like, oh, bang.
Well, that's what I was gonna do, but
And pick it up.
for the
It's too hot,
photo.
It's too hot. The photo's great. Oh, yeah. Oh. Just like that. This is how we did it. Just like that.
Wow.
Mango salsa.
Wow. Plated.
Yeah, I could have plated it better. I definitely should have plated it better, but in my house, I'm just like, what am I doing? I don't care.
We got that Simply Limeade. I feel like that's gonna set this off.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Wow.
It definitely looks like one of those plates that dudes post their baby moms made for them. Like, oh, my baby mom's cooked it up.
My favorite genre of meme on the internet is when people like have the most foul plate, and they'll be like, "Damn, my girlfriend, like, she fucking loves me. She holds it down." And it's like hot dogs with like just like the worst shit. Okay, first bite.
Straight up taste of Florida.
It's taking you back right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want to get a little bit of everything in this bite.
Wow.
This is crazy.
I love nut crusted food, yo.
Me too. Fuck. You gotta get that nut crust. No, I've really never had fish like this.
The pecans really just add like a rich base note to it.
Mm-hmm. Super refreshing. Very islandy.
Mm-hmm. How's it cooked? The coconut rice too, grain by grain.
Mm-hmm. But just with like the coconut, with the pecan and the mango, and the cilantro.
This was nailed. The one thing I think I would do next time, to be honest with fools, is I would make like a Cajun mayonnaise to go with it. Like if I mixed up the Jezebel sauce with some Cajun mayonnaise, that would be fire.
Yeah, I could see that being good. But this is really good. This is just so simple and straightforward and really good.
Incredible.
And this is like classic what they would serve on the side.
Wow. All right, Julius, let's break. Get into it. Skewed angle here. Babe, how did you feel?
What are your best dishes?
Thank you.
Summer, like, this makes me want to go to Florida. I loved it. It is very filling though.
The nut crust makes it dense. Julius, what'd you think?
You say top 3 maybe?
Oh,
Damn.
oh, what's the top 3 looking like now?
Steak, the poke bowl, and this.
God damn.
Those are solid 3.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's home.
You a
Yeah.
real bon vivant, dog. Yeah, take that home.
This is good.
I love it. Any tasting notes?
Probably the best nut I've had in my mouth.
I would say second best nut I've had in my mouth.
Thank you, babe.
First being Eddie.
Thank you.
I haven't tried that one.
Thank you.
I mean, I
Yeah.
could bottle it up for you. We could drizzle it over the next piece of fish.
This nut grew into something, you know?
Yeah, but that one wasn't in my mouth. That was somewhere else.
Yeah. Yo, right. We are back. We love it.
We are
Part
back.
2 is about to get real spicy here.
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh
did
my
Floribbean
God.
Cuisine. I love
There's
this.
so many bevs right
I'm
now.
excited to bring you to Orlando.
I'm excited to go to Orlando, but I'm like, I love the Keys.
The key,
And I love-
okay, you get even better food, better Floribbean there. Orlando's like, I'll take you to a pub or an ale house or like a local dive, and they'll have like bits and pieces of Floribbean cuisine,
Yeah.
and you cobble it together. Or like Cuban restaurants got
Yeah.
fire shit. But Miami and the Keys really, they got that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to go to Orlando and like see your life as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
But
Orlando got
sure.
good Lebanese food, Palestinian food, Cuban food,
that's
Puerto Rican, Dominican.
Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican isn't surprising to me, but Lebanese and Palestinian is very surprising to me.
Yeah. I had no idea it was like so hard to get because they had this place called Middle East Market.
Yeah.
It was all Palestinian people, and that food was crazy good.
Interesting.
Crazy fucking good.
Interesting. I mean, Orlando, for how conservative Florida feels to
Yeah.
me now, just as an outsider, it's so interesting to me that there's so many big communities of Lebanese, Palestinian,
Yeah.
Dominican, Puerto Rican, and I mean, it's just like, it's interesting.
But that was the shit that was weird growing up and I didn't realize it till I went to New York, was that we have fire Vietnamese food. Like the Vietnamese food in downtown Orlando
Yeah.
is out of control. Like rivals the shit out here in Westminster or Gardena and stuff
Wow.
like that. But like you would have all these different groups.
Yeah.
But people were for the most part quite conservative. You know, like they didn't, because there wasn't this like larger community to be a part of.
Yeah, you
Everyone
were in
just-
your own pocket.
Yeah, and everyone kept the money in their own like neighborhood or family. And so it
Interesting.
was interesting. But
Well, I know we wanted to talk about regional cuisines
yeah.
because I've seen like so little of the United States. I think I've seen East Coast, Texas, Florida, Carolinas, and like
Yeah.
the West Coast. I've never seen the middle, and there's so many like hyper regional cuisines, and I feel like Guy Fieri does a really good job, kind of like highlighting these regional cuisines, but I've never experienced them.
Yeah, I think Guy Fieri is probably the best at it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I would say for you do have a lot of New England regional. Like, for instance, like
No,
Maine,
we do for sure.
you know?
Lobster rolls, clam chowders, like the roast beef restaurants that we have. Even just like we have a Greek style pizza that
I
you
would even say
can't
New
get
England
anywhere. Mm-hmm.
ice cream is on another level. Like,
Yeah.
look, Ben and Jerry's is huge and big now, and it's just like everywhere.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up being like, "Yo, there's a Ben and Jerry's. You can get Ben and Jerry's here." Like,
But
Ben and
even
Jerry's
better
fire.
than Ben and Jerry's, which I
The
didn't
local shit.
realize, is the local shit is really crazy. Like we have, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. It's in this town called Middleton, which
Yeah.
is like kind of a farm town. Really beautiful. It's called Richardson's.
Yeah.
And you go and you pull up and get your ice cream, but there's literally like cows in the back. You
That's
can go
crazy.
you can go look and see the cows. Like I would get ice cream, go walk in the back, look and see the cows. And there's like a mini golf place and a driving range. So it's this whole
Damn.
like built up farm. But there's so many places like that where they're doing homemade ice cream. And it's just like the shit that you can't get here. And I talk about this all the time in LA because I will be like, I'm craving ice cream.
We can't. We have to
And
go
we have
here to
salt-
Handles
I was
or
gonna say.
Hans. That's it.
Yes, but like all
I don't
we
want salt
have
and
in
straw.
LA proper is like Salt and Straw, Jenny's, which Jenny's is great, but
I don't want
sometimes I
Portland
want-
ice cream. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want the like voodoo donuts of ice cream.
no,
like
because
that
it's like
chef shit.
hibiscus with like rose water drizzled with honey.
Nah.
Like I'm like sometimes I just want Rocky Road.
When I go to Cape Cod or I go to a beach town, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yo, give me Rocky Road, rum raisin, pistachio,
Yes.
cookies and cream. Like
Yeah.
the cookies and cream from like a local
Yeah.
creamery.
I also want to smell the waffle cone being made. When I walk in, I need to smell the waffle cones. Like if there's no sign of that, I don't know that I want to be there.
Yo, like Santa Barbara on the boardwalk, there's a really good ice cream place
Yeah.
there. That one is fire. Hans in Orange County,
Yeah.
fire.
Orange County has good ice cream.
And then I would say Pittsburgh, Dave and Andy's ice cream in Pittsburgh, out of fucking control.
Never been.
I think I went to the Place you're talking about on the Cape Cod episode because we were driving through Massachusetts.
Probably not.
But
I mean,
there was a farm in Cape Cod. It was like a farm with an ice cream place.
that's what I'm saying. There's
that was
so
crazy
many
good.
of them. You definitely
That shit
didn't
was
go to
crazy good.
Richardson's because it's like so far away. But
Yeah.
that's just regular in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Like very common.
Massachusetts ice cream, very underrated, I would say. And then, regional too is like, you wouldn't think like Michigan has the best Jewish deli you've ever seen, but like
Yeah.
Zingerman's in Ann Arbor, for sure, best Jewish deli. And then where else have I been? Like when I went to Ole Miss,
Yeah.
like Taylor Catfish on the Mississippi River, one of the best things I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
And I did like a cooking night with them where they made their like catfish
Yeah.
and I made Szechuan catfish out of like these gas powered woks
Wow.
on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
That shit was fire. And I would say like if you're in the border of like Utah, New Mexico, you get really ill kind of like Native American Mexican food.
Yeah.
And then I'm into Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is very regional
I really
as well.
like Tex-Mex for sure.
Yeah. I like Tex-Mex, driving around the border, like El
Yeah.
Paso and shit, you get good Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
New Orleans is like crazy.
Cajun,
Everybody
yeah.
knows about it. But
Yeah.
when I go with Elena back to New Orleans, go to like Clancy's,
Mm-hmm.
their seafood is out of control. And they got like different critters, like crawfish and shit like that. It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
fire.
No, I love that. I love that about just, and that's what I mean. It's like I want to experience so many of these places because I've never been. I've never been to anywhere.
Driving through California, I think the fun shit that we did was picking fruit.
Yeah.
Like I do love picking fruit and then cooking with it or preserving it.
Mm-hmm.
Then where else have I been with really good food? South Carolina,
I was
like
gonna
chow
say-
chow seafood.
Yeah, and I was also going to say like the Carolinas and Texas and like just the way that they do barbecue so different. It's
Yeah.
regional to every state. Like
Yeah.
the barbecue you're going to get in North Carolina is going to be completely different than the barbecue in Austin.
Yeah. And I like Texas barbecue. Austin got great barbecue.
Yeah.
It's I think because it became so big everywhere that it's less interesting to me. I remember going to Memphis. Like Memphis got fire dry barbecue, but the thing that they had that I would crave was barbecue spaghetti. So they made like an ill barbecue spaghetti.
Yeah.
St. Louis I went to fried raviolis. Like
That's fire.
crazy fried
Yeah.
raviolis.
That's fire.
And Memphis had this burger joint called Ernestine and Hazel's that used a little pickle juice, like searing their burger patties. That was one of the best things I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like Elvis got fat because of Memphis. Like that cuisine, it's like the
Well, that man was
Philadelphia
eating
of the
like
South.
fried
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and shit. Like I don't like he was a fat man.
I fuck with him.
Like he had a fat man soul,
Fat man style. Yeah.
which I fuck with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that is, I identify
Fat
with
man
that
style.
for sure.
You got to be.
Yeah, like I would
Yeah.
eat a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I'm like definitely missing something. Okay, when I go through like Colorado's interesting. It's not my favorite cuisine.
Yeah.
But you'll always end up in some steakhouse with like weird game meats like rattlesnake and rabbit or buffalo. And like as a kid, I used to think that shit was like cool to see.
Feels like the Joe Rogan of steakhouses.
The Joe Rogan Steakhouse is in like Colorado.
Okay.
For sure. Where else?
Have you ever
Man.
eaten alligator?
I had tons of alligator as a kid because my dad had it as an appetizer at Cattleman's.
Yes,
Gator
like
bites.
so Florida.
Yeah.
I've never had it. My only reference is Bobby Boucher in The Waterboy when his mom has everyone over for dinner and she just like fucking has like the fried alligators and she's like putting them on everyone's plate.
Do you
She's
remember when I showed you my first ever appearance in anything was as an extra in The Waterboy?
That's so
When he
crazy.
goes down, when Bobby Boucher goes down.
Can you see you?
Yeah, and they pan to the stands. It's me and my boy Josh Ide
Mm-hmm.
went to go be extras in Waterboy at the Citrus Bowl. and I'm wearing. I did it just to rep the University of Michigan. I
There's
have a
some
Wolverines
cosmic
bucket
shit
hat
about
on.
this. I will tell you after.
I have a Wolverines bucket hat and Jean Paul Gaultier pewter sunglasses.
Yeah.
And you see me for a half second, but like I'll pull it up and show you.
You know what's crazy cosmic about that?
What?
So I wasn't an extra, but Adam Sandler loves where I'm from. Like he loves Marblehead.
Oh,
He
word.
loves the North Shore. He loves that. He like rents a house and stays in Marblehead for like the summers. And he filmed, I think it's like Grown Ups. He filmed like 3 of them there. And all my friends, like I think even like my cousins, like all have been extras in those movies because they just film in our towns.
That's wild.
Like they're so, like he just will film them in everyone's, like in the North Shore, it's like small. There's only like a handful of towns. He's just always there filming. And I have so many friends who have been extras and like post pictures of him and be like, oh, he's so nice because he'll like chill and hang out with everyone after.
Yeah, yo, I love
Yeah.
an Adam Sandler production.
Same.
And like the Fonz was on it, like because the Fonz was the coach.
I mean,
And, like,
that movie was like stacked. It was the whole crew that he always has, and it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, Henry Winkler's in it. And then funny enough, the second episode of Fresh Off the Boat was directed by his son.
That's so cosmic.
Life is crazy. Life is definitely like a simulation.
I saw Adam Sandler in Brentwood a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love this man. He was just in his gym shorts, like eating. I was like,
fuck
you're
with him.
so ill.
I would like to ball with the Sandman. Like that's
Yeah.
I would love to play ball with him.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to think. I definitely got into a lot of regional American cuisine just because anytime I traveled, I refused to eat something I'd had before.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ill thing to like young people traveling, or even if you're old now, is just like, don't go eat something you already had.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, oh, I can get the best version of it here. You should really take advantage of every single meal when you're traveling to be like, yo, I have something different.
You know what I wish was a thing? Like, you know how when you travel internationally, eating at fast food, like eating at the McDonald's is such an adventure because you're like, oh my God, it's this country's McDonald's. Like, I wish we had that regionally. Like, I wish more places would have, like, imagine a McDonald's in Massachusetts that had the lobster roll. And then, like, one in Florida that had hush puppies.
Yeah.
And then one in New Mexico that had, like, a crazy chili.
Yeah.
That would be so tight. I feel like so many more people would be exposed to shit.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get nerdy for a second because I really like to study federalism. And federalism is the thing that basically Republicans and Democrats are always fighting over.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that like states are laboratories and
Yeah.
states should have identities.
Yeah.
And I'm very much about protecting state culture with federalism.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
having regionalism.
Yeah.
And like even forcing business, like big franchises like McDonald's to be like, yo,
Right,
you
conform
gotta-
to the culture here.
yeah, maybe you got to have like 1 or 2 items representing this state,
Yeah.
or like use things from this state.
Yeah.
If you're like gonna like sell this to the people in this state, the problem with federalism is the Republicans use it to be like, oh, we should have our own opinion on abortion.
Yeah,
You
it
know, we should
turns
have our
sinister.
own opinion on slavery,
Yeah.
like Jim Crow shit.
Yeah.
That's what they use federalism for. But federalism is actually very, very interesting if you use it to experiment with like preserving culture and creating your own state culture. Like, you know, conservatives may look at Oregon now and the like free drug laws they're passing and be like,
Yeah.
look, see, liberals are experimenting with laws and drug culture. Like, it's not working that well,
Yeah.
but I'm not opposed to an experiment like that,
No.
right? Like you're experimenting with like a wire Amsterdam free drug zone. The photos I'm seeing, it doesn't look great, but like I did think it was a really good idea.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cool that it happened and that there's a place where like you can experiment with it. It's sad that it isn't going well.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Because they're in just like less sinister ways, like yes, the anti-abortion and all these things are very dark, but in some ways I've seen it play out in smaller towns, and I can only speak for Massachusetts, where it's even on such a minor level where it's the Dunkin' Donuts can't use the facade that it would usually use. It kind of has to fit into the town. So it's like the Starbucks and the Dunkin' Donuts in Marblehead and Nahant in Massachusetts, they have to conform to like the local culture and what it looks like. They can't like stand out and just have their normal branding and shit. It's like very ingrained because they're like, we don't really want to have these fast food places. We want to like preserve the local restaurants and keep small businesses intact. And if you're going to do it, you have to do it this way. And I think that's really smart and respectful to the people that are, you know, operating their businesses there.
Yeah.
So do you think on like a bigger, larger scale, that would be great?
Yeah, and like I thought about it a lot before we did this episode because we're going into an election year. And like when I think about Floribbean cuisine, my mind is weird. I start to think about this shit, you know, and I start to think about like, all right, I'm into decriminalization, but you need education. People need like psychiatric help, social welfare. Like there's a homelessness issue. So I'm just like, decriminalizing to me is great. It's a good idea. But then like, what else are you supporting it with?
Yeah.
It's almost like I got a great script, but then you need a director, you need a DP, we need actors. Like, it's never just one thing. But I do find the argument around this fucked up in our country because when I read about the Oregon drug-free zone, you have conservatives like, look, you stupid liberals, you let these people go on drugs. People can't do this. They have no self-control. The liberals are like, no, stay away, decriminalization. We don't want more cops, you know? And I'm just like, we should all see that neither side has a complete and accurate argument. And it's because we only have two sides.
Yeah, well, that's why.
Like,
because even if there are truths on either side, they will never be recognized by the other side. You see what I'm saying? So it'll always be villainize this entire ideology and villainize this entire ideology and don't take what works from both. Because there are things that maybe work from both sides and implemented correctly. Like if there was a third party or there was somebody who could just say like, okay, you're right on that. Like this is a little too crazy, but let's not go all the way and reform everything.
Yeah.
There could be a way for it to work.
And through my work on Wong's World, I sat down with a lot of what I thought were insane psycho conservatives.
Yeah.
And like when the cameras are off, they will acknowledge like, I know this is crazy, but I just like, I gotta fight for it because if I say this, then you're gonna say that.
Yeah.
And the political argument is just like any family argument you have at home where the fear of losing is so strong that you're just trying to win the argument and you don't acknowledge the truth in the other side.
Yes, and I think now it's scary to express any feeling that doesn't completely identify with your party.
Yeah.
So people do get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Like you cannot say if you're a conservative, like what is it now? There's people in the conservative party being like they're like closeted like liberals and shit or like rhinos or something they're calling them because they'll say one thing in favor of something that the Democratic Party or a liberal would be in favor of. And it's like, you should be able to have a more complex view of your politics. Like it doesn't need to be so black and white. It doesn't need to be so set in stone. And that's where I think a lot of these conversations just aren't productive because you can't agree or disagree with something without being completely labeled and discredited.
Yeah, and it becomes this like moral argument. Everything is a moral argument. If you're on that side, you're bad. You're on this side, you're good. I'm like, it's really not that simple. Like there's good people and bad people on both sides. Like we should understand the mechanisms of this country and how it works. And I would really encourage everybody to read about fucking federalism because federalism underlies so much of your lifestyle and quote unquote freedom in this country and the laws people passed from state to state versus the federal government is really at the core of everything people are arguing about. Like every single argument in America, there's a federalism mechanism underneath it. Not to bore you guys. We don't have a guest today, so now all I talk about is food and politics. But this is the shit that's interesting to me. As well as, I've been asking you about this because I thought you may have an answer. We're all kind of stumped in this room, but like the Taylor Swift, I feel like it's a resurgence because there's always been an insane amount of Swifties, but I have never seen this many homies that I know and like people who I just felt like their taste was not in the Swiftie camp or all at like Taylor Swift shows like all of a sudden this summer.
Yeah, I have a few theories on that.
would
Okay, so
throw
it is
some
kind
at
of
me.
crazy because Taylor Swift has always been, she's always been like have a huge audience, huge fan base, right? Like that's not new.
Yeah.
And there kind of has always been, whenever she's on tour, this whole production around it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's going, they're posting, it's hard tickets to get, like I guess.
They seem
Whatever.
to always time her with Beyonce. You know what I mean? It's like either you're Taylor Swift or you're Beyonce.
Which is also interesting to me, which like I will get into. But I don't know. I'm not a Swiftie.
Yeah.
I literally texted everyone I know today that would be like I would think would be interested, that like go to concerts a lot or like interested in seeing live music. And I was like, hey, what's up with the Taylor Swift thing? Like, are you a Swiftie? Everyone hit me back and said, no, I am not. So I don't know anyone who is. It's like hard for me to understand it. I don't dislike her at all. I think she's talented, but this is fucking crazy.
There's people I've seen recently, like at dinners or whatever, wearing like Taylor Swift merch. And I'm like, you're into it? And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's fucking Taylor Swift, bro.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned this before to me. I think it's the price of tickets and how hard it is to get
Yeah.
that is making it a thing. Almost like
Okay.
caviar. Like tons
Yeah.
of people I know, they eat caviar sushi. They don't have the palate for it. They can't even understand it,
Yeah.
but they want it because it's expensive.
Real Housewives
It's
of
a
New York,
status
first
thing.
2 episodes, shout out. Yeah. So I think it's a form of social currency. Like if you're at a Taylor Swift show, where are you at? Like, are you in the nosebleeds? Still super expensive, but like, are you in VIP? Like, are you Channing Tatum wearing a fucking Swiftie shirt? I think it is social currency and that's part of it.
Is it ironic? Is
No,
attendance ironic?
I don't think
No?
it's ironic. I think there's definitely like a fear of missing out situation happening.
Yeah.
Like I think like
Like a
maybe
great
not everyone,
artist of our generation we're missing.
I guess, but I think maybe not everyone's a super fan, but like this seems like a really fun cultural moment. And I do think like the internet has fostered this ideology that like if something's really fucking popping and you like aren't a part of it, are you missing out?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people want to feel like they're missing out. But thirdly, I think this is her Eras tour. She re-recorded everything, Taylor's version. And I think this tour maybe is getting more support from people because they want to support her in that journey.
It's a little, is it a little akin to like the Britney Spears renaissance in like 08, 09 when it was like
Yeah,
free
when it
Britney?
felt like that started, it could be. I don't know.
I'm just curious. I'm
or
seeing
it
a
could just
peak.
be that she's like an incredible performer and that it's not for me and I don't get it.
That's the one argument I'm not going to buy because I see clips of this and I'm like, this looks like my auntie running across the stage in glitter. You know? And I'm like, maybe it's also because people are so hate Kanye now for good reason. And it's like Kanye
I
did her
just
dirty.
can't see, like, I cannot see a world in which I would hate Kanye West so fucking much that I would spend $600, whatever the fuck they cost, to go see Taylor Swift.
Can we
like,
look at Taylor's chart? Maybe the chart has some, maybe like,
her astrological chart?
yeah, maybe there's something exalted this year for her.
Let's see. Taylor Swift.
The astrologists in the comments, please let
Natal
us know.
chart. Everyone in the comments is going to be like, this shit is so LA. You
Mm-hmm.
guys are so LA.
Whatever. I'm trying to figure out why people
Okay.
that never like Taylor Swift are fucking Swifties this summer.
I don't think we have a rising sign. Oh, we do. Okay, interesting. Sun in Sag, Moon in Cancer, Scorpio rising.
Would that mean,
Astrologically, I don't really know because it's like we have a Venus retrograde in Leo happening right now. We have a Mercury retrograde about to happen in Virgo. We're like in Leo season. So I don't see anything like why she would be popping. If anything, this makes sense for Beyonce to be so fucking popping right now, which I do get. And then also, I don't know if I'm like reaching with this, but is it because Beyonce's tour is happening at the same time? And she has such a big community. And I mean, Beyonce is arguably so much better as a performer. I would say her catalog is so much better. Like any Beyonce song kicks the shit out of a Taylor Swift song.
It's like Diana Ross versus like
I don't even have a comp. I don't have a comp because there's no one I know that I would like put down.
Shania Twain. Like Shania Twain's kind
Oh,
of
I fucking love Shania Twain.
Who would be like, it's
That's
Diana
what I'm saying.
Ross
I don't
versus,
know who to say in this because there's like who.
Like, I don't think anyone touches Diana Ross, just like in this generation, Beyonce, like as a big box performer, I don't think it's touched.
Beyonce knows how to put on a show.
She knows
Like
how to
she's
put on a
doing
show.
everything. Her visuals, her dancers, her whole production, like just like
Yeah.
her she's had 3 kids. She's still on that, like having maybe her best shows now versus if you look back like
Yeah.
10 years ago, I'm like, oh, this is the same. Like she's going hard. So I don't know if it's just like, oh, we're going to support the fuck out of Taylor Swift because Beyonce is getting all the, like, I don't know what it is. But it doesn't make sense.
It could make sense too, because I've never seen the country this divided.
Yeah. Like,
You know.
is it that? Is that what's happening?
It could be. I wanted to ask the question. We don't have fucking answers.
Yeah.
But if people got opinions, we want to know.
Also, if you're a Swiftie, we are not coming for you.
We're not-
I get that she does her thing.
I think the music is ass. I really do. I've never heard a Taylor Swift song where I'm like, oh, word. I could listen to that. Like, I got Spice Girls songs I listen to.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like Spice Girls got at least 3 bangers that I fuck with.
You want to
I
know
can't find
an
one
interesting
Taylor Swift
fact
song.
about Taylor Swift?
What?
I don't know if this is true, but I read this somewhere. I feel like the Swifties are going to come for us, but I don't care. When her first album came out, so she's from like a wealthier family. Like I think they had a little bit of money or something. They grew up on like a Christmas tree farm. And her first album came out, her dad like bought 100,000 copies or something
Interesting.
and like got it to chart. I don't know if this is
Interesting.
true. I really don't know if this is true. I read that because I was always interested in like where this girlie popped up from.
That is this week's episode. We're gonna have a lot of these solo ones coming up. You guys got some shit you want to see us cook, talk about, whatever. Let us know.
Questions, we'll answer, topics.
And we've been seeing the messages to start a Patreon. Wifey is on it.
Oh yeah,
She on it.
we're doing it.
All right. Thank you, my G's.
Bye. The Swifties are gonna come get us.
It'll be funny.
They're gonna come get us.
It'll be funny.
They're gonna take our son, make him listen to
No.
teardrops on our guitar.